Hey guys, Jennifer Tardy here, your career success coach, and we're back for another video. And this episode is all about how to crush, yes, crush your next behavioral interview. I get a ton of questions about this, and I want to show you a method that I give to my clients that help them to feel cool, calm, and relaxed and to go in and crush their behavioral interview. So I'm going to share that with you. Plus, I'm going to share two other things with you, one later, one now. Now, the thing that I'm going to share with you later is my favorite segment, which is the career success bonus tip for underrepresented populations, as I do in every episode. And the thing that I want to share with you now is that I don't know if you heard or not by now, but we have released a new course called the Offer Magnet Job Seeker. And yes, it is exactly what it sounds like. And if you too want to become an offer magnet, then go to the details section below, look and click on the link that is the Offer Magnet Job Seeker. Learn, join the course, and you become an offer magnet too. So now, that's not what this video is. This video is how to crush a behavioral interview. So let's get it started. Now, have you ever been sitting in an interview and you're like, man, this interviewer is asking me a lot of questions about my past. Why in the world are they asking these questions? What is the best way to answer this question? And how do I practice for these questions if they ever come up in the future? Okay. Rest at ease. That's what this video is all about. So I'm about to show you. Let's get into it. Step number one is learn more about what a behavioral interview is. And a behavioral interview is just a way for interviewers to assess past behavior. So they'll ask you questions like, when a certain situation came up in the past, how did you handle it, or how did you behave? Now, a lot of people will say to use the STAR method, which is STAR. It's an acronym, and it stands for situation, like what was the situation, tasks, T, what were the tasks that were associated with that situation? What did you have to carry out? And the A stands for actions. What actions did you take according to those tasks that you needed to carry out? And the R is, well, what was the outcome, or what were the results of that? That's the STAR method. And when a lot of people hear about, okay, so I need to use the STAR method in order to answer this behavioral interview question, it makes you just want to pull your hair out. So step one is just understanding what is really being asked of you, and what's the difference between the behavioral method and the STAR method. Now that you know the STAR method, I'm going to show you my way of telling my clients to answer that question. Now, but before we go there, I want to make sure that you are well prepared for this interview, in addition to understanding how to answer behavioral interview questions. So if you've not seen a previous video that I created, which is the interview preparation checklist, then you need to make sure that after this, you go back and you check out that video as well too, please. Okay, so that was step one. Step two is that tell your story truthfully. Everyone has an amazing story, some pivotal career moments that they can think of. You don't have to come up with something false. You can come up with something true that will be just as effective. And please stop thinking about what the interviewer wants to hear. That's what gets us caught up. We keep trying to think about, well, what does this interviewer want to hear from us? What is the best answer to this question? As opposed to thinking about, I have some good stories already from my past. And so if I tell those stories truthfully and in my way, then that's going to help you to feel more comfortable too. And it's going to help you to sound less robotic and less rehearsed or made up. And it's going to sound genuine and passionate along the way. So this next one, this tip that I'm talking about right now is just making sure that you sound truthful in however you answer those questions, because that truth and that passion in your real story will better resonate with the employer. Now, quick side note, sometimes getting questions and answering questions can make you feel really, really, really nervous. It really can. I have a video for that. How to let go of interview nervousness. So if you have not checked out that video, please go back and check out that video because we want you to end all of that nervousness so that when you're answering these behavioral interview questions, you answer them with pure confidence and comfort at the same time. Now, this next step is a really important step. Now, this is how I tell my clients to answer it. I want you to think about 3 pivotal moments in your career, like 3 defining moments. It could have been you working on a project. It could have been you working on just a team in general. It could have been something that just you individually were tasked with, just something that really resonates with you. And when you think of those stories, think about think back to it. Take one story at a time and think back to it. And think about that STAR method. What was the full situation? What were you asked to do? Or what sort of tasks did you actually have? What sort of actions did you take? And then what were the overall results, right? So one story in this instance, think through it the way that you would with the STAR method, something that's really personal to you, and hold tightly to that story because that one story will be one of 3 stories that you're going to always use. And so I ask my clients to come up to think back to 3 different pivotal moments in their career. And in those pivotal moments, when you know clearly what the tasks were, what the actions were, and what the results were, you're going to continuously use that to be able to answer any sort of behavioral interview questions that will come at you. So now, instead of trying to think about 15 different stories or a story on the spot, you can take one story, one of these 3 stories, and there are so many different ways of looking at that same story, so many unique vantage points from that same story, and you can use it in order to answer any of the behavioral interview questions. And odds are it's going to have something to do with a team. It's going to have something, or working with someone. It's going to have something to do with getting something turned in on time. It's going to have something that evokes emotions, that did evoke an emotion within you. And it's just going to work a lot better for you, which takes me into step 4. Take these 3 stories and practice those 3 stories. And practice telling those stories in their entirety to others, to a few people that you trust. And then have them ask you a few questions, right? And so once you've practiced this story, it's going to allow you to have easy and quick recall on those stories because you practiced them already. You know the story and you know exactly how you want to portray that story. And with someone that you trust asking you some questions, you can really put this whole behavioral interviewing thing to the test. And so that can often help. And it helps you to rest easy that you'll know how to reach back and answer any of these behavioral interview questions that you may get. Now, not only will you be able to answer these questions, but I also want to show you how to answer them clearly and concisely. So how to speak clearly and concisely during an interview, I have a video for that I really want to make sure that you check out as well too, as you're in the midst of practicing your 3 pivotal stories. A side question. What would be a good behavioral interview question that you would hope to receive in your practicing? Go ahead, go to the comment section below and share that with me. A good behavioral interview question, and maybe you'll see some other behavioral interview questions that other people put in the comment section too that you can use when you're practicing overall. Now, as promised, we're at my favorite section, which is the career success bonus tip for underrepresented populations. And one thing that I share with people that I'm talking to is when you're coming up with the stories that you want to share, you can make that story even more impactful if you become a little more transparent about something that you identify with, right? And if you can add that into your story. And so think of this as self-identification in any way that you can self-identify, and you add that into your story as something you have overcome. That will make the story even more impactful, and it will make it resonate more with the hiring manager. But make sure that you're not doing it in a way that's going to make a person feel uncomfortable. So let's say, for instance, a part of me that I identify with is being a woman. And there could be situations where, as a woman, if I am in a meeting of all men, I could feel a certain way or of less confidence. Or maybe even my situation was that I tried to speak up and no one was listening, right? For me, that could have been a major pivotal moment in my career, that I did something that turned around that whole moment and allowed me to have a voice confidently within that meeting of all men. And so that's something that resonates with me. So if you are a member of an underrepresented population and there's something that you identify well to, use one of those stories. And because those stories help people relate a lot more, and it easily shows how you overcome too. Now, I am glad that you stuck it out through to the very end. And just as a quick recap, that in order to crush a behavioral interview, make sure that you know what a behavioral interview is. Make sure that you speak whatever story that you tell truthfully, transparently, and honestly. Make sure that you think of some defining, pivotal career moments that you've experienced and come up with 3 of those stories and practice those stories, and then put it to the test. Have some people that you trust ask you those questions along the way. Now, if you're watching this video, you are probably in the interviewing process, and you may want additional questions to be able to prepare with. And so I have created a free guide for you, 25 interview questions and answers that will knock an interviewer's socks off. So make sure that you download that PDF. It's in the details section. And make sure that you practice them and you use them so that you can easily become a better interviewer. And do not forget about the Offer Magnet Job Seeker. It is a course that is for you, and it is ready, waiting for you to join the course. Now, remember that in order for us to be underrepresented no more, we must listen, engage, apply, repeat now. We must learn. I will see you in the next video. Take care.